I tell you what, gang. I got a couple of things to discuss before we get into the swing of things. There was actually a um very interesting video that popped up on my TikTok the other day, and honestly, it brought me back to a lot of nostalgia, which is um digital gaming, digital gaming thing. If you can pre-order through the PlayStation Store, Xbox Store, whatever, and have it ready a new game loaded in at midnight on the launch date. I personally miss because I there's nothing around me that does it anymore. I personally miss the whole midnight launch when you have a physical copy. I loved doing it. Um, I'm trying to think of the ones I went to. My favorite one was the Fallout 4 one. I love the Fallout 4 one. Parading my Pip Boy in front of the peasants. Nah, in front of the people who didn't get the Pip Boy edition. Honestly, it felt really good. And then it was like, I know, like, the game wasn't ready to play when I got in, because you got to put it in and then it's got to install and do a day one patch update, because that's how games work nowadays. Can't just put it in and play when you buy it. Um, but it was just really cool because it gave me time to, like, look at the Pip Boy and examine the collector's edition I had, and just take in what I bought, and it was just so cool. And it was it was really cool, just like waiting in line, getting it early, talking to other people also fans of the game and the franchise. And it's like, oh, what do you think it's gonna be about? And you get some theories going. It's just a nice social event, and I feel like it's lost now through like the digital releases. And I'm guessing people probably sit on Discord calls or Skype or whatever and be like, oh, it's almost here, it's almost here, it's almost here, like it's preloaded, ready to go, when it go. Anyway, you can jump into it straight away, but I miss the social aspect, which is really weird because I don't generally like a lot of people. I generally don't like it. Um, I remember I went to the midnight launch for, I think it was Pokemon Sun and Moon. I got the limited edition 3DS, which is somewhere behind me there in a drawer. Um, I pre-ordered that with the game. I traded in my old DS. I got it on a really, really good deal. And I remember just standing there with the old DS, no, wait, no. I tell a lie. I had picked up the console beforehand. I picked up the limited edition console beforehand, and the game came out a couple of days later. So I was there standing there with the console. I'm like, oh yeah, get ready for the Sun and Moon. So I'm standing in line, and I'm literally just minding my own business. I had my headphones on. But I noticed some, like, at the corner, like my periphery, there was a finger just pointing out. And this kid in front of me, just spinning round and round and round and whispering something to him. So I took my headphones off, and I was like, is there a issue here? And he was really offended that I wasn't playing a Pokemon game on a Pokemon launch day. I was definitely playing Legend of Zelda. Which one it was, I can't remember. Maybe Ocarina of Time? Maybe. Um, but I was just standing there, just vibing on Ocarina of Time, and he was like, "Can't believe you're not playing a Pokemon game on Pokemon launch day." It's like, well, like, I will be playing a Pokemon game on Pokemon launch day. It's behind the counter. And I did. I have, like, I think it was Pokemon Red, emulated on there, like, the digital version of Nintendo Store. I think I had Pokemon Red. I didn't bring Soul Silver, so I was like, oh, I'll just vibe on um some Zelda for a bit. Just really offended by it. I was like, dude, like, it's not that deep. So, like, there have been instances where I've gone to midnight launch and people have been dicks, but there's always one in there. But no, I remember going for the launch for Borderlands 3. Um, like, somebody I was friends with at the time, then he found out that we could get our copies earlier, and we're like, oh, let's go get it, let's go get it, let's go get it. So we raced down to the shop, paid what we needed to pay, and yeah, great. Got Borderlands 3 early. Shame the game wasn't as good as the hype was. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit better now. It's still not great, but it's a little bit better. At least the Hammerlock deal. But what other ones I gone to? I went to the Overwatch one, which is really weird because I was only one of 3 people one of three people to go pick up a game, and one of them I actually knew from when I used to play rugby. Um, so that was a really weird launch, and like even when I went home and installed it and played it, it just kind of felt like, eh. Something about it just felt a bit flat. Like not even just like the fact that no one went and midnight launched it, and I know my game store, they were just like, yeah, we were expecting more than this. So they just gave me loads of free stuff before I went. I stayed there for a little bit and they just gave me loads of free stuff before I went. But even when like I played it, I was like I was kind of excited, but at the same time I was kind of like reserved about it. Just because I didn't really know what to expect about it. Like I think I was so used to like buying a game now and had a multiplayer aspect and expecting some sort of like single player PVE or whatever. Um, when I loaded in, it's like I didn't see it. It's like, oh, I guess you just jump into it then. Um, just my bad. I should have read a bit more into it, but it just felt really flat and really weird. Um, whatever ones did I go to? Went to the couldn't go to the Mass Effect 3 one. Because the game had an issue with EA. So my N7 edition of the game, I never received. I'm still looking for a copy of it, but I never got my N7. It got refunded, and that was it. And didn't have to buy it. It was also the time when Game almost went under it because of it. They couldn't sell FIFA, couldn't sell Master, anything with the EA logo. They couldn't sell. Went to the Uncharted 4 midnight launch. Went to the Doom 2016 midnight launch where I picked up my Revenant statue. Awesome. I went to. I missed the Horizon one. I missed the Horizon Zero Dawn one. However, oh, she's over there. Aloy's over there, somewhere in the corner. Yeah, there she is. Get close enough. She's by the cubo, right there. But what happened with that? So I pre-ordered the game, and I asked at the time, is there going to be a collector's edition at the time? Like, or is like, something better than a standard? The guy said, no, it's not going to be a stand. There's no need a standard. We were, there's only a standard collection. We're not expecting any collector's edition. So like, okay, that's fine. Whatever. I'd pre-order it. So you come to so I get a picture from my friend saying, oh, I just picked up Horizon. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm going after. I couldn't get the day off work, so I'm going to go in straight after work and pick up my copy. And he's like, oh, do you get the statue? And I was like, statue? Huh. She sent me a picture of this Aloy in this collector's box. I was like, yeah, I wasn't told about that. So, may have gone a little bit Karen. I was nice. I wasn't like, I demand to speak to your manager. I literally just emailed their customer services and I would explain to them the situation. And to be fair to them, they actually contacted the developers, the distributors directly, and they were asked if they actually had a collector's edition spare. So I actually had the last one they had, the last Aloy they had, and I didn't even have to pay extra for it. I picked up my game. It was still sealed, so I took it back in, and I think all they said is if you just pay like an extra tenner, we'll cover the rest for the inconvenience. It's like, oh yes, done. So I pretty much got that for about a third of the price that it should have been. Like the whole collector's edition is beautiful. What else did I go in for? Went in for. I never went to a Call of Duty one. I was kind of big on Call of Duty like years ago. I think the franchise is a bit shit now, and it's just a rinse and repeat. It's all microtransactions and yeah, not for me. The community is definitely not for me now anyway. But I always avoided them like the plague. What else have I went to go to? I never actually went to a Resident Evil one, but I don't think they did Resident Evil midnight launches at the time, no. Which is really strange because the reason they gave is that there's just not enough interest, which baffles me really because it's such a huge franchise, and I guess there was a really long period of time in gaming where, like multiplayer games were just the shit. If it had a multiplayer aspect, it sold. Single player games weren't. I felt like they were dying out. Because even Doom 2016 had the multiplayer aspect, but I think to be fair, Doom is such a legendary name, and it was like a modern day interpretation of Doom. It's like, okay, yeah, but we'll sign on to. But yeah, it was. I do miss the midnight physical launch. Midnight launches are a thing of the past now, as Game have announced they're going to stop sending. Well, they haven't actually confirmed that. Conflicting, um, there's conflicting news reports on that. Somebody apparently leaked the report that they weren't going to do physical copies anymore, but they've come out and said no, that's wrong. So it's kind of hard to determine whether or not that is true. I mean, given that Mike Ashley is in charge of game, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, if that's the case, it was obviously going to be the next step when they stopped taking pre-owned games and CX were like, oh yes, come here. Like CX are only just going to get better now, because of the pre-owned games system. But yeah, it's if they stop selling physical copies, I'm not gonna be happy about that, because again, I like going to the shop. I like going. Like I understand, like, the convenience of online shopping. I understand the whole thing of it, but where I live, like, I like having that option to go to a game shop on my doorstep. I don't, because if I wanted to go to a game shop, if this one closes near me, I'd have to jump on a train to either one city or the other, and it's like a half hour with it. But like, that's putting me out of like my pocket, but I can just walk down to the shop. But like where we live now, like it's been a slow there's been a slow increase that they're trying to get a bit more business, like it's been a bit more like independent local business, which is fantastic. There's an independent pizza shop that opened up recently, which is amazing. The pizzas are mind blowing. And I hope they stay around because the food is really good there. But I like having the option of just going, I can pre-order a game, and I just know, like, when I finish work, I can just chuck on some clothes and then walk down to the shop. I have a bit of me time, just even if it's just an hour. That's a bit of good mental health time for me, or I can just walk down to the shop, think about what I'm gonna buy, like think, try and speculate, what's it gonna be like? Get to the shop, have a little talk about it, think, how popular has it been? Have you got it? What do you hope for it? Blah 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 blah. And we're gonna lose that, and all for the sake of digital copies, which, by the way, digital copies should not cost the same amount of money as a physical copy. Digital copies should be at least half the price. Or maybe not half the price, but they should be cheaper, because there's no physical copy. There's nothing to hold, like, you're skipping the steps of like making the disc, making the cover, making the plastic case, and you got to pay for that, pay for all that production cost, and you're just literally delivering it to it. I think like game companies are scalping people on digital copies on launch. I personally think they should be a lot cheaper than what they're advertised as. And something about ordering like a special collector's edition that's digital just doesn't seem right. Like, for me, growing up with it, like, I understand, like getting a physical collector's edition, I'm gonna get goodies with it, whether it be a statue, whether it be like the standard, postcard stickers, an artwork book, game devs, the steel book, a nice presentation guide. Like, I'm expecting like good bonuses for it, and I can look at it and go, yeah, do you know what? That's value for money. I like that. But I see that you can like pre-order like special editions on like, and they're like 100, they're like over £100, and I just don't understand. And all they give you is like stuff towards microtransaction stuff. Like, if I paid like £150 for a game, and all I had to show for it was just a download file and some skins and like that, that's to me not worth it. That's not worth value. Whereas like I could buy a collector's edition, a physical collector's edition that comes with a statue and it comes with things, and it's like, look, I got more than just the game. I got this, and I got this, and I got this. I feel like this is where like the games industry is starting to, as well, they've been taking advantage of gamers for years, but this is like one of the things that I think they're actually starting to properly like turn the screws on us. I don't feel like we're getting like the value for money we're getting. I mean, new games, like most like AAA new games now, like 70, 80 quid. That's a lot for a new game. Not everyone's going to be buying that on, everyone can afford that online, especially with, the way that the economy is right now, the cost of living crisis. That's a lot of money to dump on a game, and you have no, like, I would, if I paid 70, 80 quid for a game, I'd expect, so like, I remember, back in the PS4 days, like 80 to 90 quid will get you a special edition, well, not the collectors, but it'll be like an in-between version. At least you'll get something back for it rather than just you get game and goodies, like physical goodies. You don't get that now. And they know that they can charge these prices, especially certain AAA titles. They know they can charge these prices because people just go money, like pre-order it. The moment that trailer drops and like available to pre-order, they are straight in the shop, straight in the PlayStation shop, straight in the Steam store, straight in the Xbox, wherever you get the games from. They are in that store, and they will spend whatever. It does not matter. So we are victims of our own downfall. We're happy to just go like the moment something's announced, money, give it, yes, go. Destiny is a fantastic example of a game dev company taking advantage. Destiny 1 I was hyped for. I was absolutely hyped for Destiny 1. Saw the trailer, it's like, oh, all this exploration. I was a bit skeptical seeing Activision all over it. But I thought, okay, they're just gonna be in charge of distribution, like Bungie are gonna be like, the main drivers. I'm not exactly a Halo fan, but I can appreciate, the games that they make. I know when the game launched, it was very vanilla, it was very basic, it was very bland. It was the same land, run, kill enemies, deploy Dinglebot. It was very, very bland. And then they were like, oh no, all this stuff is coming. Not trailer. Yeah, that's all DLC. And then I think I worked it out. It was if you bought the original game, if you bought the standard game and then bought all the DLCs as they came out, you're paying nearly £300 just for them to release the last DLC in a gold edition version of the game, and they'll sell you the base game with all the DLCs for 30 quid. And that's such a slap in the face for people who supported that game from day one. They were like, no, I'm supporting this because of various reasons. I believe in it. I enjoy it. I'll play it or whatever. And they got scalped so hard. Whereas someone like me who traded the game in or got rid of it after like a couple of weeks because it was boring, I just rebought it when the last DLC drops in the gold edition, spent 30 quid on it, and it felt a little bit better. Don't get me wrong, I still think the jury's out on it for me. I don't think it's a great game. I think it's very monotonous. I just don't see the whole. I don't see the allure. But like that alone, it's just like, wow, like you've actually scalped like your loyal fans and bought it from day one. Just for some average Joe like me to go, oh, this looks good. Oh, look at that, a game and like 4 or 5 DLCs, 30 quid. Yep, come here. It's just something about it's just wrong for me. But like at the same time, we make a rod for our own back because they support. There'll be a large enough gathering of people, a large enough group of people who just go, oh yeah, don't worry, I'll pay for that. I'll pay max. It don't matter. Like I like the game that much, I will pay whatever. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. I get, if they're a business end of the day, they're there to try and make money. But I think there's a line needs to be drawn between like taking the piss, like making money, and then taking the piss out of your fan base. Just me personally saying that. I mean, look at the whole Battlefront 2 paid win system. The whole thing, everything was behind paywalls. Absolutely disgusting. It's no wonder it got banned in certain countries for gambling. That's EA for you. But yeah, I personally miss the whole. I can pre-order a game, and then it's like, oh, I keep checking. Oh, it's 100 days. Oh, it's 50 days. And then they release details of the collector's edition. Oh, look at the statue. Look at the steelbook. Look at all the goodies. Oh, I can't wait to go pick it up. It's in a big box. I get to speak to people. I get to go with friends who enjoy it. I get to, make potentially new friends. Be like, oh, you playing this layer? Here's my, PSN ID or Microsoft ID. Just add me up. We'll play along with it. That's all gone. That's all gone. Like the whole in-person social aspect of the thing is dying. And which is kind of ironic, like me as a gamer, the whole joke of, oh, you don't interact with real life people. And I wish I didn't sometimes. But at the same time, I miss that in-person interaction of just having just a nerding out session with somebody's like, oh, I would have loved to have gone to the Mass Effect midnight launch had it actually existed in where I lived, and be like, oh, what do you think? How are we going to take on the collectors? What do you think? Which path are going to shepherd on? What the new characters? What's going to happen to so and so? And so, I would have theorized that all night long. But for whatever reason, I was taken away. But it is what it is. Couldn't do anything about it. But I want physical midnight launches to come back. I would love for them to come back. I would love to just go just the ability just to go down for all the reasons I've said before, just to go down, get social interaction, get excited about the game. I can't get excited about a game that digitally downloads. Like, I can't get excited about that. I can't. I gotta have something physical. I gotta have something parade, something for the gram, something with like just show off a little bit. It's I don't know. Hopefully they come back. Hopefully, but we'll see. We'll see. But that's my little rant on the midnight launches. I wish they would come back. But I don't think they will. Actual game store. So we do actually have an actual game store. I mean, there is a Sports Direct near us that has a game store, but like if a game is in a Sports Direct, it is fucking tiny. It is absolutely tiny. Plus, they got rid of the reward scheme now. There's no points reward. So it's just like a game is gonna die. This year, game is dying. And Mike Ashley is behind it. Like it is just getting. It's just getting there. It's just dying. It's going. Give it some time, and it won't exist anymore. Bear Photographer, hello. Oh, I love the Vulpix. I love the Vulpix wave. Hi. Where do you stand on physical midnight launches, Beth? Do you care about them? Would you like the option of having them? Do you like the whole event behind them? I'm doing grand, Beth. How the devil are you doing? Yeah, I like the whole thing. They can build up to it. If it's a game that someone's hyped it doesn't even have to be like a well-known AAA title. If there's a game that was like announced at E3 or some Gamescom somewhere that everyone's just gone, oh my god, like I can't wait for this to come out. Like they'll hype it up. Like you go to the shop, you're like, oh yeah, I want to pre-order this like straight away, and you start talking to them, and it's like, oh yeah, this has been popular. It's like, oh yeah, I can't wait for this to come out. Like you get excited when you do it, and you go to it like, oh yeah, pre-order it. Like they make it such a grand event. They're like, oh, by the way, we're doing a midnight launch this event. Like people coming in cosplay. There'll be this, and there'll be that. It's like, oh yes, that'd be awesome. It's like without that, like I was actually an alpha tester for The Last of Us, for the first one. I played that game when it was mid-development at my game shop. Why? Because they were selling the physical copies of it. If they weren't doing physical copies of it, they wouldn't be able to really do it because they would just keep it behind closed doors. But I've alpha tested The Last of Us, and it was awesome. But let's get the physical bloody midnight launches back. Let's get them back, shall we? I want them back. I would love them back. But I don't think it could be. I think it's going to happen. Which makes me sad. Because, like I said, I've collected loads of cool, steelbooks and whatever. And I've loved interacting with people on it. Probably asking for a bit too much.